Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So yesterday, Mark Rutte, the Secretary General of NATO, was visiting the Washington, the White House, and Trump has made some announcement. President Trump made an announcement in regards to Ukraine and Putin, a lot of statements about Putin. And the breaking news is that US is going to provide weapons to Ukraine as long as Europe pays for it. I will bring you the video, and I will bring you, first and foremost, I will bring you the response from Russia, from the Russian Federation, from Medvedev, what he thinks about it, what Russia thinks about it. And before we end this video, I will give you my opinion about what I personally think, in my humble opinion, it's going on. So let's go straight to TASS. We're going to start with this, because Medvedev made a statement. Russia does not care about Trump's theatrical ultimatum, says Medvedev. This is Moscow's first official reaction to the statements Trump made yesterday. I'm sure there will be more to come. I haven't checked with Lavrov and Zakharova if they said something already. But let's read this. This is from today, July 15th. Moscow, Monday's statement by US President Donald Trump are theatrical ultimatum to Moscow that it does not care about. Russian Security Council Deputy Chairman Dmitry Medvedev said, quoting him, this is from X, that's what he posted on X. Trump issued a theatrical ultimatum to the Kremlin. The world shuddered, expecting the consequences. Belligerent Europe was disappointed. Russia didn't care. That's what Medvedev wrote in English on the X social platform. This is Moscow's first official reaction to the statements Trump made yesterday, that is yesterday on July 14th, when Trump announced Washington's decision to continue sending weapons and military equipment to Ukraine as long as Europe paid for arms deliveries. NATO will coordinate the process, the US president added. He also said that the United States would impose import tariffs of up to 100% on Russia and its trading partners in case Washington and Moscow failed to reach agreements on resolving the Ukraine conflict. Okay, so we have this. Let's go to the video from yesterday that I actually watched live as I was walking in the park and having my own assumption and judgment about this events and statements that Trump has made. So let me play this part for you. A lot about Putin, a lot about Ukraine, and a lot about Russia.
In what?
How far are you willing to go if Putin were to escalate, send more bombs?
Don't ask me a question like that. How far? I don't know. I want to get the war settled. They're not Americans that are dying in it. And, you know, I have a problem, and JD has a problem. It's a stance that he's had for a long time. They're not Americans dying, but there are a lot of people dying and on something that should be able to be settled. And we all agree with that. This group of people, that, you know, we want to defend our country. But, you know, ultimately, having a strong Europe is a very good thing. It's a very good thing. So I'm okay with that. Yeah, please, in the back.
Yeah, is there a ceiling on what the Europeans are willing to pay for? And it sounds like, well, are you ruling out the U.S. paying some additional weapons to withdraw that authority?
Shall I try to answer that? Because basically what the president is saying, that he is willing, of course, taking consideration what the US needs itself. So it's not that you can have a shopping list, you can order whatever you want, because the US has to make sure that the US keeps his hand on what the US needs, also to keep the whole world safe, because in the end, you are the police agent of the whole world. You are the most powerful nation on earth, the most powerful military on earth. But given that, the US has decided to indeed massively supply Ukraine with what is necessary through NATO. Europeans 100% paying for that. And what we have been doing over the last couple of days is talking with countries, and I just mentioned the ones who in the first wave immediately said, we want to chip in. And then you are really talking about big numbers. Take Germany visiting today. They are really talking about big numbers.
I will say that I spoke with Germany, spoke with most of the larger countries, and they are really enthusiastic about this. They want to, and they're willing to go very far. I will tell you, as per your question, how far would I go? They want to go very far. They don't want this to happen. That's why I think, from Putin's standpoint, it would really be good. He gets the country, his economy is doing very poorly, and he's got to get his economy back. He's got to save his economy. He could save his country in a sense, but the economy can be destroyed. He's destroyed a lot of countries over the years. He wants to get that economy back. And, he's got a great country for trading and other things. If they could use the assets instead of war, he's got some tremendous potential. That's what I would say.
How did you deliver this news to Putin, sir?
Say it?
How did you tell Putin this was coming?
I speak to him a lot about getting this thing done. And I always hang up and say, well, that was a nice phone call. And then missiles are launched into Kiev or some other city. And I said, it's strange. And after that happens 3 or 4 times, you say, the talk doesn't mean anything. My conversations with him are always very pleasant. I say, isn't that a very lovely conversation? And then the missiles go off that night. I go home, I tell the First Lady, I spoke to Vladimir today. We had a wonderful conversation. She said, oh, really? Another city was just hit. So it's like, look, he's, I don't want to say he's an assassin, but he's a tough guy. It's been proven over the years. He's fooled a lot of people. He fooled Bush. He fooled a lot of people. He fooled Clinton, Bush, Obama, Biden. He didn't fool me. But what I do say is that at a certain point, ultimately talk doesn't talk. It's got to be action. It's got to be results. And I hope he does it. It's potentially such a great country to be wasting so many people on this and the money. And look at what's happened to his economy. Look at what's happened. So,
and with the threat in 50 days,
yeah,
the economy will be hit very hard.
I mean, look, I hope he's going to do it. He knows the deal. He knows what a fair deal is. If there is such a thing as a fair deal, there's no winners here. This is a loser. This is a loser. And I dealt with him from the beginning. It wouldn't have happened, but I will say Ukraine was the apple of his eye. We talk about it. It was the apple of his eye, but it wasn't going to happen. And he understood that. It wasn't going to happen. And then I noticed, after I was out, soldiers forming at the border.
Yeah.
And then I heard horrible, stupid things being said from the other side. And I said, they're really handling it very, very wrong. It's a shame. Yeah.
Can I add one thing? And that is about President Trump, because you came in office in January. On the 12th of February, you had your first phone call with Putin. I think you did exactly what I hope you would do. That is breaking the deadlock, starting the conversation, because you have to test him. I know Putin very well from the days I was Prime Minister in the Netherlands. You have to test him. And you did this. And you really gave him a chance to be serious, to get to the table, to start negotiations. Steve Witkoff, Marco Rubio, we all tried to help you. But you've now come to a point where you say, well, hey.
We actually thought we had probably 4 times a deal.
Yeah.
I mean, you would call and you said, this looks good.
Yeah.
And then the deal wouldn't happen because bombs would be thrown out that night, and you'd say, we're not making any deals. It was like...
But you breaking the deadlock was crucial because you had to start that process. You were the only one who was able to do that.
I think we'll get it done.
Do you think he's reasonable enough to negotiate?
Yeah, I think we're going to get it done. I think, look, this is a very powerful situation. You have very wealthy countries buying the best equipment in the world. And we have the best equipment in the world. We make equipment like no other. Our submarines, nuclear submarines, are so powerful. They're the most powerful weapon ever built. And we have the best in the world they're 20 years behind, 25 years behind us. We have the greatest equipment anywhere in the world. I just hope we don't have to use it. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, so before I take you to the next article that is about Ukraine again, I want to give you my personal opinion. And this is, again, my personal, humble opinion. Since I have this YouTube channel, I think it's okay. And I believe it is okay to express myself because I want to stimulate your way of thinking. If you take things as you see them at face value, as they say, you will come to a very simple conclusion, and you will decide that you know what's going on, because clearly it looks like United States is sending more weapons to Ukraine, actually selling them to Europe, and being engaged in this conflict, right? And continuing this absolute disaster. And this is clearly attack against Russia, and this is the conflict. That's how it looks like, and it will continue, and we will go to another war, and everyone will be engaged, and it will be an absolute disaster. Because Russia clearly is not going to stop. We all know this. This is how it looks like, in my opinion, if you take the current situation at the face value. However, I would like to present to you my opinion that is maybe a little bit not controversial, but kind of like a conspiracy way of approaching things, but I like that. Let's just take a look at what Trump is doing. When you are watching him, you are maybe under the impression that he's like shape-shifting. Well, literally, it looks like there are many Trumps, not just one Trump. Side note. Anyway, so he's shape-shifting. He makes a decision, that he changes his mind, that he changes again, and on and on and on and on. You think this guy needs like mental treatment or something, right? So here he is saying that he's spoken to Germany, for example, and they really want to go in. Well, clearly he's making statements saying that Europe wants to engage in war with Russia, like officially, and go into it. But then he says that he wants to make peace. And he actually has conversations with Putin, like he had 4 of them, but he's not happy that there is no result as far as peace agreement, because Russia is firm and Russia wants things to be done certain way and is not bending, okay? So I think what I think. I tell you guys. In my opinion, this is literally what they are doing. They are playing, and I'm talking Trump and whoever is behind him, and I'm talking about the good side that's behind him. They are playing the same people who are playing us for a very long time, who are shape-shifting and lying to us on and on and on for a very long time. They are confusing everybody, including those who want to believe in this administration and those who hate this administration. They are confusing absolutely everyone, because no one really knows what's going on, except probably Trump, Putin, and very few others. This is my opinion. Now, he is sending weapons to Ukraine, but Europe is going to pay for it. We all know very well what is the economy in Europe. Ursula the Witch, she wants to turn it, and she's turning it into the war economy, right? So we all know the economy in Europe almost kaput. And here he is selling equipment to Europe. Europe is going to pay for it, means the citizens of Europe are going to pay for it. How do you think the citizens of Europe are going to receive another war, being fully engaged in it and sending troops there? People will stand up, people will protest, and they don't want it. So there is a contradiction here again, because he says the strong Europe is a good thing. Yes, but what is he doing is actually contradiction to making Europe strong, and we know it. So what is going on here? Or maybe he's trying to bring down European Union completely. The British influence, the power from UK. What is he doing? Ask yourself this question. Because you cannot take anything as you see it, the way that you see it. It's not like that, in my opinion. You have to really, first and foremost, step away from it, like I said before in another video, and give it time and see how things unfold. And what Medvedev said in this article, not what he said in the article, what he said in his post. This is exactly how I feel. It's a theater. It's a performance. He says it. Trump issued a theatrical ultimatum to the Kremlin. And I know that this is as a reference to how silly it was, but I read it in a different way. It's all theatrics, in my opinion. It's all a show. It's very confusing. And if you take it at the state value of how it looks like, you might just be constantly terrified and thinking this is never gonna end. We all want this to end. But we are at war with very, very dark forces. And I know many of you think that Trump is one of those dark forces. But there are many of you who believe and know that he's not. Even though he's selling the weapons to Europe who cannot pay for it. Because the economy is almost kaput. So think about it. It looks completely ridiculous. And he's talking about 100% sanctions on the countries that buy oil or other products, right, from Russia. And I think also on Russia. That's what I understand he wants to do. As if Russia cares. And he knows Russia doesn't care. He knows this. He also knows that in the long run, this has no standing. So whatever this 50-day frame is that no one really cares about, for some reason they chosen it. And I don't know why, but we will see. Time will tell. All I know that this is all a theater, it's all a performance, and they are shape-shifting everybody in every possible direction. So no one really knows what's going on, especially the opponent, especially the enemy. So I know some of you probably, no, because the expert says this and this, and it's okay. I respect all the experts, but I have the right, absolute right, to have my own opinion. Now, let's go to the article. And this is the truth. This is not confusing, because here we have the foreign minister of Hungary, Peter Sziarto, I think that's how you say his name. I really like, this is one of my favorite foreign ministers, by the way. So let's read this. Brutal conscription in Ukraine. Hungary demands intervention. The head of Hungarian diplomacy said that it is shocking that the international community turns a blind eye to the brutal conscription in Ukraine. If even a tenth of all this happened somewhere else, the EU would immediately condemn it, Sziarto said in a video published by the media. The minister said that the conscription in Ukraine is often synonymous with hunting for people. They beat people to death for not wanting to go to war and participate in a senseless massacre. All this is happening in the heart of Europe, and European politicians pretend that nothing is happening. So, you know, I have to tell you guys, even though, because you're watching my channel and many similar channels to mine, we all know this, right? That this is going on. But you would be surprised how many people still don't. A lot of people don't. A lot of people think that actually Ukraine still has a chance to win, or is winning. A lot. So what will it take? Well, some still need to wake up, I believe. Some will never wake up. But at the end of the day, when we are witnessing events like that yesterday with Secretary General of NATO coming to the White House, Trump making those statements, and everyone is like, what? WTF, right? Why is he doing this? He's supposed to end this war. There is something going on that many of us will not be able to understand until we will understand. And I choose to believe, because that's how I see it, that they have to play this game for some reason to completely confuse everyone. It is confusing. But it's so crazy that it just makes no sense to me. And when something like this makes no sense, it means that it's all theatrical performance. That's my opinion. You might not agree. But I would like to know your thoughts. If there are any people who question things the way I do as well. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. The links will be attached down below the video and the description box, and probably tomorrow we're gonna hear from today. So tomorrow we will report on it. We will hear from Lavrov, Zakharova, and a few others as the show goes on, because they keep on doing those shows for us and confusing everyone. Goodbye, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. Bye, everyone.